In order for a woman to be magnetic, she must master her feminine energy. But the sad reality is that most women are actually walking around with wounded feminine energy. And if that's the case, well, she's just not going to be very magnetic. But in this video, I'm going to explain why that's the case, how to fix it, and how to master your feminine energy in order to stay magnetic. Hi and welcome. I'm Amanda, a busy full-time working mom who thrives in her feminine energy and teaches women just like you how to do the same despite all the masculine demands in your life. And below you'll find a link to sign up for my free weekly newsletter where I share all things feminine energy and alignment to help you live a life that you love. So I just want to jump right into this video. No intro, no fluff. Let's just get right into it. But we first have to define what feminine energy is, because some people are going to come across this video and this may be the very first time that they've ever heard of feminine energy. But there's also going to be a lot of people who come by this video and they're like, I know exactly what feminine energy is. I just need to know how to heal it. So to bridge that gap, I'm just going to give a super brief overview. And if you need more information, I have tons of videos on my channel all about what exactly feminine energy is and how to heal it. So feminine energy is the energy of flow, of being, contrasted with the masculine energy, which is about doing and forcing. Traits of feminine energy are things like compassion, being intuitive, receiving, expressing yourself emotionally, submission, in a way that's empowering. Feminine energy at its core is about authenticity. It's about being able to live a life that feels authentic to us, one where we feel aligned with who we are because we're simply living in flow. But so many women are experiencing wounded feminine energy because they are too much so in their masculine energy. They're doing too much doing, serving others, listening to what everyone else has to say, ignoring their intuition. They're focused on providing and controlling. So embracing our feminine energy looks like embracing softness and being able to receive. And that means receiving help, gifts, compliments, anything. As women, we, for the most part, have a really hard block up when it comes to receiving. And that's not actually natural. It feels natural because the masculine energy has been taking over and therefore wounding the feminine energy, but it is not actually natural to our inherent feminine energy. So when we talk about healing that feminine energy, we talk about things like practicing intense self-love, self-compassion, listening to our intuition, respecting it, honoring it, acting upon it, setting boundaries, and prioritizing softness. So I want to dig a little bit more into the art of receiving as it relates to feminine energy and also the submission piece, because I feel like those two can kind of be misunderstood sometimes and are sometimes met with some resistance. So let's just address it. When we talk about the ability to receive, it looks like relinquishing control. It looks like leaning back, trusting others, which is something that a lot of us have a hard time with if we are more so in our masculine energy, because we've been so used to needing to control everything. But the ability to receive help and support is an inherently feminine trait and one that we need to lean more into in order to become more aligned with our feminine energy. And the ability to receive is highly magnetic because the masculine energy polarizes with the feminine energy, right? It's one and the other, they're magnetized to each other. And so when the feminine energy rejects receiving, well, the masculine energy, and if we want to talk about relationships, a man who's in his healthy masculine energy wants to give. So if that's meeting up against the resistance of the feminine who has a hard time receiving, then that's going to cause tension. A feminine woman becomes magnetic when she embraces the ability to receive because the masculine energy wants to give. He wants to give and he wants it to be well received. And that can relate to gifts, support, leadership. It can mean a lot of different things in a lot of different contexts, in a lot of different relationships. But what this can look like is simply just letting others take the lead, whether that be your male romantic partner or your friends or family members when making group plans. And part of leaning back is having the flexibility to adapt to various situations in life. And part of that comes down to detachment, which I talk more about in this video. And it's just being able to detach yourself from outcomes and just be more in flow. And I know I use that word a lot when I talk about feminine energy, and it kind of sounds a little loosey-goosey, but it really is a very accurate representation of what we're talking about and is a key component of embracing and becoming aligned with your feminine energy. And the last point I want to make about leaning back is just embracing a slower lifestyle in all aspects of your life. As I mentioned, the feminine energy thrives in an environment that is slow and soft. And I have a video up here where I talk all about how embracing softness and slowing down saved my family. And that sounds dramatic, but it's true. Our family has done a complete 180 after me putting in a lot of intentionality behind slowing down things for myself and for my family. So I won't get into everything that slowing down your life looks like because I talk about it here in lots of other videos. But it is so important that you do slow down in order to honor your feminine energy and become more aligned with it. Another huge key factor that plays into becoming aligned with your feminine energy and therefore becoming magnetic, because the two really go hand in hand, is focusing on yourself. And feminine energy is not selfish, but it is about prioritizing yourself, your wants, your desires above all else. And again, it's not from a selfish place, it's just coming from immense self-love. And taking care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, it just generally raises your vibration and makes you more magnetic to others. And while we all want to feel that, we all want to feel like we are magnetic to others, true validation needs to come from your inner self. And that might sound a little cheesy, but it is completely true. If you don't love yourself, no one else is going to really be all that drawn to you, because that can't be faked. So you need to stop chasing approval, validation, other people, and instead focus on authenticity and being completely aligned with yourself to naturally attract what's meant for you. And the truth is that how you treat yourself is how others perceive you, and how others perceive you deserve to be treated by them. Therefore, to master your feminine energy and to stay magnetic, you must prioritize true self-care. And that's very different from indulgent or gluttonous behaviors. It's not self-care to doom scroll for 3 hours while you eat a pint of ice cream. That is indulgent. That is not self-care. That is not what we're talking about. First things first, get enough sleep. I mention this in almost every video because it is so important. The feminine needs to be rested. She needs to not be burning the candle at both ends. She needs to prioritize her rest because she knows how important it is in all aspects of her life. Body, mind, and soul. It looks like eating nourishing foods that you don't feel deprived. We're not trying to make anyone hungry here. We're not doing that. We are nourishing our body with healthy proteins, fats, carbohydrates. We are loving ourselves enough to not stuff it full of junk, and we're loving ourselves enough to not deprive ourselves and let ourselves go hungry. It's a fine balance, and if you've been a victim of diet culture for almost your whole adult and adolescent life, that's actually a really hard lesson to learn. Up until I really healed my wounded feminine energy, I was in a constant cycle of either dieting or not giving a crap about what I was eating. And it took a while of intentionality to actually nourish my body from a place of prioritizing self-love and caring for myself. Similarly, we can have the same sort of conversation about exercise. It's not about pushing yourself as hard as you can and exhausting yourself. That is not feminine, but it is about embracing exercises that makes your body feel really good and strong and healthy. And certain exercises can help you become even more aligned with your feminine energy with the nature of them. Things like yoga, Pilates, bar, dance, walking, especially outside in nature, connecting with nature and moving your body in those fluid movement ways. Those are all amazing ways to become more aligned with your feminine energy. So those are obviously greatly encouraged. Get outside, soak up the sun, drink your water, wear your SPF, all those good things. But also equally important is prioritize hobbies that make you feel really, really good. Things that serve you and actually leave you feeling very fulfilled when you're done. We touched on this this a little bit earlier, but the truly feminine woman who is magnetic is unapologetically authentic, because true magnetism comes from being completely secure with yourself and projecting that energy of confidence. And feminine energy at its core is that ability to live life from a place of authenticity and alignment. And a quick note on magnetism, it is not about trying to get everyone to like you. It's not about trying to get anyone to like you. It's about just being so comfortably yourself that others are drawn to that energy. Because the goal is not to get everyone to like you, but rather to draw in the right people to you by being magnetic, by being authentically yourself. I mean, think about it. How would it serve you to draw in the wrong people to a fake version of yourself? And true magnetism is polarizing, right? Even if we talk about it from a scientific standpoint, magnets polarize. So your magnetic energy is going to strongly attract certain people and strongly repel others. And that's okay, because authenticity will polarize some people, but it will attract the right ones. And that's really what we're after in life. The next thing that we have to talk about is intuition, because being in tune with your intuition is an inherently feminine trait. And women who are truly aligned with their feminine energy, they not only have the ability to hear their intuition, but to trust it and act on it. But here's the thing. I don't think that you can truly hear your intuition if you're not aligned with your feminine energy. So it's kind of like a chicken and the egg thing, or maybe less of a chicken and egg and more of like a snowball effect. The more that you become aligned with your feminine energy, the more you're going to hear whispers of your intuition. The more that you trust that intuition and act on it, the more aligned with your feminine energy you will become, and the more your intuition will speak even more clearly to you. Don't forget to check out my newsletter down below. It's totally free. There's nothing worse than a crappy newsletter, so I promise not to send you one. I promise to only send you great value. And if you want to learn more about healing your wounded feminine energy, I know you'll find this video really helpful. You can subscribe for more helpful videos like this. Stay aligned.